Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Computer Science Discoveries Unit 3, Lesson 4, Shapes and Parameters. So our question of the day, how can we use parameters to give the computer more specific instructions? So what we're going to do today is we're going to start building on the knowledge that we have about programming so far, and we're going to add in 3 new blocks of code. So today we're going to talk about background color. We're going to talk about the width and height for both the ellipse and the rectangle. So we're actually going to be changing these shapes from just circles and squares into rectangles and ovals. And our vocab word for the day is parameter. So parameter is an extra piece of information passed to a function to customize it for a specific need. Now remember, all of this is building up to the point that we start creating animated interactive cards and games and things like that. So right now we're working with blocks and circles, but pretty soon those blocks and circles are going to turn into shapes and colors and actual pictures. So let's get started. All right, so these rectangle blocks have 2 more parameters that you can use to control the size. Notice that the no stroke block turns off the stroke or border of the shapes. You don't have to worry about that no stroke for right now. Do this. Look at the code and try to figure out how the last 2 inputs of rectangle work. Change the numbers in the second rectangle to make the red rectangle longer than the blue one. Well, what I always like to do is I like to hit run to see what I've got first. So here's run. I'm going to turn my grid on until I get comfortable with the grid view. All right, so I've got a blue rectangle that's a little longer than a red rectangle. So let's see what the workspace has for me. All right, I start with a no stroke. Don't need to worry about that per se. By the way, these white spaces here, all those are actual spaces. So if I show you in the text view, you see there's nothing there in line 2. So they don't affect your code at all. The only reason that they're there is to allow you some space so that you can easily see and read the code. All right, so line 3 is our fill color blue, which is what's turning this rectangle over here blue. And this rectangle is 100x 100y, and it is 100 wide and 200 tall. 100 wide and 200 tall. All right, that makes sense. And remember, this 100x, 100y, that's indicating this top left corner of the rectangle, top left corner. All right, so then line 6 says red, so we're talking about this one. Ooh, there we go. And then this red rectangle is created at 250x, 100y. It is 100 wide, or 100w. Where am I getting the w from? Take a look at the rectangle block over here. All right, and then it is 150 tall, or height, 150 tall. Again, it coordinates with that space right there, the H. All right, so if I want the red rectangle to be longer than the blue rectangle, well then I need this number here, 150, to be larger than this number up here, 200. I need the 150 to be bigger than the 200. So what am I going to do? I'm going to change this to 250. All right, now I'm going to hit reset and run. And that's it. I've solved the puzzle. Let's move on. Da-da-da! All right, level 3. Write code that makes an orange ellipse behind the green one. Don't worry about the exact size as long as the green ellipse is entirely inside the orange one. Make sure you remember that. A lot of kids get stuck trying to make this picture look exactly the same, and it doesn't have to be. All you have to do is create an orange ellipse that is behind the green one, and just make sure the green one is all the way inside the orange one. So this one is not only about fill color in the ellipse, but it's also about placement in the workspace. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to grab a fill block. I'm going to change that yellow to orange. Remember, no capitalization there. Then I'm going to grab another ellipse and I'm going to drag it over. All right. So right now, both ellipses are going to be created at 200x, 200y. Remember, ellipses are plotted from the center of the circle. My green ellipse is 200 wide, 150 tall. my orange ellipse is going to be 400 wide and 400 tall. I'm going to hit run to show you what happens. All right, at this point you might be freaking out thinking, oh my God, where'd the green one go? Well, remember, it's about order. Whatever is in lines 1 and 2 and 3 are going to be behind line 4, okay? So my green one is still there. It's just being covered up right now by the orange one that I drew on top. So if I want the orange ellipse to be in the back, then I need to make sure that it's at the top of the pile, like that. Okay, reset and run. There we go. Now, as is, this puzzle is complete. Why? Because it says, don't worry about an exact size as long as the green ellipse is entirely inside the orange one. Is the green ellipse entirely inside the orange one? Yes, it is. Our program is done. Move on. Da-da-da! All right, so we've got level 4 here. Sometimes you want to fill the entire screen with a color. For that, you can use the background. It covers everything on the screen with the color you choose. Do this. Run the code to see the background work. Change the background from yellow to orange. And here's a challenge. There is a purple square that is covered up by the background. Can you change the order of the code so that you can see both the purple and the blue squares? All right, let's see what we got. Run. Okay, we got yellow and blue square. All right, so I've got to change the background from yellow to orange. So let me find that block. I've got fill purple, rectangle. Oh, that must be the square that they're talking about that's hidden. Line 3 is background yellow. Oh, that's it. Background yellow. I need to change this to orange. Remember, capitalization it's important here. No caps. All right, then I've got my blue, fill blue, and then this is my blue rectangle. Okay, I'm gonna hit reset and run. Always good idea to do after you've made a change. Okay, so I've satisfied this part of the puzzle. I've changed the background from yellow to orange, and I've also run the code to see how it works. So at this point, I'm technically done, but I like a good challenge. So I'm going to take a look and see if I can figure out how to get this purple square to show up. So remember what I told you in the last puzzle, that order matters? So whatever you want to show up in the back or behind everything else has to be at the top of the workspace. So background should go at number 1. Why? Because the background is the background. It needs to be behind everything else. So now that I've taken that one block background and I've dragged it to the top of the pile, background is now at spot number 1, followed by purple, then rectangle, then blue, then rectangle. What I should see when I hit reset and run is I should now see that purple square that was missing. So let's see if I'm right. And there you have it, folks. That's it. Move on. Da-da-da! All right, in this next puzzle, we've got background will draw on top of everything already in your drawing. So we've kind of been talking about this already. So it's important to think about the order of your code. Do this. Use background to make a black background behind the green circle. Okay, so once again, I'm going to hit run to see what I got. All right, I got a green circle on a white background. They want me to make sure the background is black. I have to use the background block to do that. So I'm going to come down here to the toolbox in the drawing drawer. I'm going to grab this background color, drag it over. Now, I'm going to show you what happens if I just drag it and drop it below everything else. I'm going to change white to black, hit reset, and run. Oh, that's not going to work. So remember, order matters. If I want it to show up behind everything else, I have to make sure that it's at the top of the workspace. So I've now dragged background to the top, reset, and run, and there you have it. That's all you gotta do. Let's move on. Da-da-da! All right, so in lesson 6, this program uses 4-parameter version of rectangle and ellipse to draw a simple scene. Do this. Debug this program and correct the error so that the grass extends across the entire bottom. Hint, you only have to change one number. Which parameter makes the rectangle or the grass wider? Wider. So let's see what I got. Hit run. Oh, I see. We've got a cliff. A cliffhanger, folks, a cliffhanger. We've got to fix this green grass so it goes all the way across the bottom. So remember, we got to make it wider. Wider starts with a W. So which one of my parameters starts with a W? Let me look over here at the rectangle. I've got X, then I've got Y, then I've got ding ding W, then I've got H for height. X, Y, width, and height. So let's find the green grass. I got sky, background, sun. By the way, these gray blocks are called comment blocks, and the computer does not read those blocks. Those are for you. That's the way of putting notes into your workspace. So down here we got grass, draw grass. So here's our green, here's our rectangle. It starts at 0x, 300y, 200 wide, and 100 tall. I've got to change this 200 to something that goes all the way across the screen. So remember, I can turn on the grid and take a look. How wide is my screen? Well, if that's 200 and it's halfway over, I'm going to take an estimated educated guess and say that it's probably 400. So I'm going to change that 200 to 400. Alrighty, and reset and run. That's it, folks. Hit finish and keep going. All right, so on this one, practice with parameters. Do one of these. If you choose to do more than one, I'll give you bonus points for it. So I'm going to start with the debug hidden shapes. Okay, so the code below should be making a pretty picture, but right now it's only making one ellipse. Okay, so debug the code to see, so the picture on the right. All right, so I'm supposed to have some kind of rainbow circle thing happening, and instead I got a one big red circle. So once again, we're talking about order here. Order, the things that you want to be drawn in the back should be where in the workspace. By now, hopefully you have memorized this. So let's take a look. If I want the red circle in the very back, and all I see right now is a big red circle, what I need to do is figure out where the red is and move it where it's supposed to be. So I've got orange ellipse, yellow ellipse, green ellipse, blue ellipse, indigo ellipse, violet ellipse, red ellipse. Ding, ding, ding. The red ellipse is in the wrong spot. So I'm going to grab that fill red, drag it to the top, plop it there at number 1. Don't forget the ellipse part of the project. Go down and grab that ellipse at the very bottom, drag it up, put it just below the red fill. Now I've got red ellipse, orange ellipse, yellow ellipse. So let's see what happens. Reset and run. There you have it. It's all about the order. Didn't have to write one piece of code on this one. Just had to figure out the order. Hit finish. And get ready for your assessment level. Woohoo! Assessment level. All right. Once again, I'm going to hit finish, but feel free to go on and do letter B and letter C. Totally your prerogative. I think they're kind of fun. Letter B is a little challenging. Hopefully you are better at it than I am. All right, so in this one, this is an assessment level, which means I'm not going to help you, but I will give you a hint. So here's what you've got to do. Now that the grass is working, let's add a cloud to the sky. Unfortunately, it looks a little funny. Debug the program to make the cloud wider than it is tall, like in the image. Image over here. Hint, you'll need to change 2 parameters. Which ones set your cloud's width and height? Width and height. Let's see what I got. Oh, yeah, that looks like from the game Portal. That does not look like a cloud. So here's your hint. Draw sky, draw sun, draw grass, draw cloud. Bam, right down here. The only block you're going to mess with is line 14. There is something wrong with line 14, okay? And make sure you take a look over here at the ellipse block. You have to figure out what width and height you need to change this cloud to make it look like this cloud. Good luck. And then for the challenge level, one more time. Choose any one you want. If you do more than one, I will give you bonus points for those. But for the challenge level, I want to see what you can do. Okay, I happen to do letter E, make a shape scene. Now that you have some new blocks, decide what you want to draw with them. This is kind of a free draw. Give me something more than just a block in the middle of the screen, though. Okay, so they give you some examples of things that you could do if you're interested. Totally up to you. Okay, I ended up attempting to draw a tree. It's not the greatest tree. I need to do more work to it. But there you have it, folks. That's what I tried. And that's it for lesson 4. So hope you have a good time. Let me know if you got any questions. Otherwise, see you later.